using your polling experience, when she goes and when it's a presidential election one-on-one, do the Republicans that have ticked her box come to Donald Trump?
I think it's another great question. I think about 90% do. You know, the folks are going to realize that this is a binary choice. You may not like Donald Trump. You may not like some of his actions or his words or his social media posts. But at the end of the day, what this really comes down to is a choice between the 4 years that Trump put on the scoreboard when it came to his administration and the 4 years that Joe Biden has. And Andrew and I have talked about this. The reality is that whether you're talking about our domestic policy, our border, our economy, or our foreign policy, and the wars that we have now watched happen on Joe Biden's watch that stemmed, frankly, in many cases, from that failed withdrawal in Afghanistan, you can make a huge contrast. And I think voters may not like the personalities of one or the other candidates, but for the first time in my lifetime, and probably in anybody's lifetime going forward, we're going to be able to judge a record versus a record, not a hypothetical, not a bunch of promises, but 4 years of one president versus 4 years of another, and make that decision. And I can't think of a clearer contrast that exists between these two men.
I reckon that's a fantastic point. I mean, you're really basically holding up, aren't you, Sean, two mirrors, and you look in one where Donald Trump kept the border secure, and you look in the other one and you've got thousands and millions of people flooding in from the south, and you go to yourself, well, if I want America to become great again, or just be America where you have to come here the right way, then you don't vote for Joe Biden.
Absolutely, and that's it. And the thing is, you know, when you do a campaign, 99% of the time, it's hypothetical. It's, I will promise you this, I will do this, I support this. In this case, and that's why I'm saying for the first time in my lifetime, and probably the last time in my lifetime, you will have the record of a former president going against the incumbent president, and you can contrast every single aspect of what should be important to voters: safety, the economy, foreign policy. And there is no clearer of a contrast. And you can't argue, you know, you're not going to hear these candidates go up and, well, I would do this and I would do that. The voters can honestly look at the record and compare border to border, economy to economy, foreign policy to foreign policy.
Energy is the other one, of course. I mean, Donald Trump had the US energy stitched up, mate. I mean, you were producing more oil than you could use.
You meant that in terms of the industry, which I totally agree. I thought you meant in terms of the person, which I would also agree.
Well, both, mate, both.
Exactly.
Sean, do you buy the Democrats' spin that the Democrats want Trump to run because they believe that Biden can still beat him? Who believes that?
Well, look, they have two choices. I think no matter who we put up with the record that he has, we could beat him. I think, it's going to be Donald Trump, and he will beat him. And the problem is, I think that there's two issues. Number one, the polls are what they are in the battleground states. There's 8 states that this election is going to be decided on. And in every single one of them right now, Donald Trump beats Joe Biden. And frankly, he only needs to win, a few of them. But the other issue is this. The biggest issue that Joe Biden has is his age, and it's not a number. It's his mental acuity and his physical prowess, and both are something that you cannot fix. There's no campaign in the world that can fix it. And all these Democratic strategists run around and say he should get out there more. And the reality is he can't get up the short stairs to Air Force One. Where do you want him to go? He can't go anywhere. That's the problem. And for these armchair quarterbacks who like to say the campaign should get him out further, I would argue where? Get him where? Unless it's in a recliner chair, it's not going to go well.
Sean, great to catch up with you, mate. Thanks a lot. That's Sean Spincer.
I'm glad to see you. Thank you. See you soon.